Hello and welcome to the Mr. Trick and Joe Rodwell track breakdown of Crimea River, a song that we've been performing for a long time, but only till now we've got in the studio and actually recorded it.
Indeed. And I was going to ask you, because you basically started this as a little remix to start with, and I don't know how long ago that was, but that's how it came about initially, right? You were kind of doing a bunch of different remixes in this style. Was that for swing and bass at the time, or was it just it was just come out of? Where did it come from, Richard?
Well, basically when stems were available for AI splitting, if people don't know, of course you know, that's why you're here. I was like, well, I obviously want to remix these certain tunes that I've loved for so long and have been like a massive part of my life. So this was one of the list. Like, what? I can get the stems, so I'm doing it.
That's sweet. Nice.
That's how it happened. And then I was just saying that it did pretty well. It's got quite a lot of plays on the old SoundCloud, and Dom Whitty, the drum and bass guy on the bike, played it in his set.
Nice.
And so we've just been performing it.
Have you got a little clip of that? You can hit this stay away from it.
Yeah, here's a clip. Yeah, it's been widely played, and I then started putting it in the set. I thought Hilary L, her vocals sound great on it, so why not put this on an EP along with some other tunes that we've been playing for a while, and all the players are confident in playing it. But
that's kind of how the collective recording kind of came about, wasn't it? Because we do the live arrangements had kind of come on quite a lot since we started playing them live, I guess, and it was it would be really nice to actually capture this as an actual thing, giving a taste of the live stuff on a studio record. Yeah, because we haven't really got any songs out, and a lot of the festivals we were playing at, it was just they were making Spotify playlists and putting my tunes on the websites and stuff, and it's like, well, it's not really the product that you see live. So this was really important that I got something out that was the live experience on record. I remember I did a gig in London, and some people came and they went, we went to a previous gig and we bought your CD. What is this? This is not that. And I was like, I know, fair enough. But it was a positive, yeah. It's like, we should do some music. Yeah.
It was like, this is great, but this is amazing. So it's about capturing that. And I think for me, it was about trying to make live drum and bass sound good, sound like drum and bass, but also not like essentially jazz.
Yeah, that's been the crux of the journey, really, hasn't it? It's been how to make it slap like a drum and bass tune. If you were playing it on a drum and bass Spotify playlist, it wouldn't sound like out of place. Yeah. But also retaining sort of the live elements of it. I think when I was working on this, because I think initially when we did do the studio sessions, I'll rewind back to those in a second. When I was doing it, I basically kind of mixed it in a way which was live, and then we were like, yeah, that doesn't work, and then we kind of took it from that point to kind of make it more... and then we got Urban Dub involved the session with him, because I know that he makes sample backs from live drums into drum and bass, and I thought it was really important to have someone with his ear and knowledge add their 50 pence. It's a good session.
Yeah, and he's, that I know how serious he is on it, and how I've watched quite a few videos on how he's gone very geeky and deep into the physics of it all. And I thought it was really good to have him involved, because he said something really honest, and we had Chad in the session as well, and it was saying that if I'm a drum and bass head and I see live drum and bass and it doesn't sound like drum and bass, I'm just going to walk on. And that for me is really, really important. And it's also why this project's really, really hard, is because drum and bass, the people that are really into it are actually love their sound system culture. They love their high level audio, and they like drums and they like fat drums, you know.
Mm.
Whereas if you've got a jazz listener, will listen to the groove, whereas a drum and bass listener will listen to the groove and the quality in like the transients and how much everything
Yeah.
is like in your face. And I think we set ourselves quite a high bar by producing this type of music. And
Mm-hmm.
this has been such a long process, and it's taken, we've gone through so many journeys with these songs and what we were trying to produce, from being
Mm-hmm.
quantized to quantized to recording with shed loads of microphones.
Mm-hmm.
Insert photo now. And they were just, there were so many different levels. And obviously, from coming from drum and bass, where it's taking breaks, and funk records that were probably not that many microphones, to then pitching it up and making it sound like a completely different genre, where we're using live drums that are not pitched up.
I mean, to be fair, we can go to this in a minute as well. Like Chad's setup is built to sound like those records. So we have got, like, you know, he's got 3 snares on there, including like a piccolo snare, kind of just trying to make it sound like a pitched up thing as well. So part of the process was trying to get the instrumentation to sound more like sampled drums, which is quite an interesting thing. You know, trying to get your real drums sounding like that. It's a lot of drummers are trying to work on that as well, and it's a quite a fun area of the game.
Yeah. And so, should we have a list to what you have?
Yeah, so I think I tried to find a session which was pretty much after we recorded everything. So this is before I even kind of mixed it properly. Probably I have done a half mix. Don't get me wrong, but this is like not the one I sent to you. It's probably, as I think when we said, right, we've got everything recorded, and this is in the actually, I'm going to share now. This is the entire EP on one session.
Yeah. How many tracks is that?
291. And I think, to be fair, some of those are bus channels. I mean, if I go click on hide, there'll probably be other bits. No, not much. So yeah, I mean, it looks the same, but that's literally all 4 tracks. I think one of my biggest regrets was doing this, because it just slowed down my computer massively. And it was okay in the end, but you know, the more I started mixing in this project, was like, okay, this isn't working. It was useful as a recording thing, because we were kind of able to copy settings and kind of, I mean, particularly like all the drums, which are in blue here. Don't know why the drums are in blue, because that's not the color drums should be, anyway. But that's all on the same tracks, right? So it's that's the main the constant, whereas everything else is, you know, clearly separate tracks as it goes down. But like, you know, some of the horn channels are staying the same, some of the bass channels are staying the same. But I thought, I mean, we can look at the drums first. Hopefully, I'm going to play this.
Let's look at these drums.
Yeah. So I think I might have got rid of, I mean, as we said, we had many mics. I think I got rid of those, the ones we didn't use. I think there was they call a gobo mic somewhere, and another mic, but everything else is kind of the stage. So we've got kick, in and out, snare 1, top bottom, cross stick, which is just actually the same snare, I've just put it on a different channel, snare 2, top bottom, snare 3, we just had 1 bottom mic, and that was like the piccolo snare, the really high one. Room left and right, overhead left and right, floor tom, because we only had 1 tom, hi-hat, got a hi-hat too. We had 2 hi-hats as well. I remember that now, because we were playing with T-tails on various hi-hats to see what worked.
The T-tail was a massive help. The hi-hat was just so like loud and clangy and bleeding into the snare mic that it was just like, it just sounded, for me, I was sounding horrible.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things to do, because, like, you know, you can do as much as you want in terms of mic placement, and yeah, well, both essentially mic placement and like control and stuff. But when you're actually playing it and you're playing loud drum and bass, that hat's still going to come through.
Yeah.
Like, so there's elements of that which are an issue. And as you can see here, like with the snares, I just chopped them out. Like so obviously these mics are recording all the time, but if a snare 2 is not playing in this gap here, for instance, just had to cut it out. It's just to get as much control. I mean, I gated bits and here and there. We'll get to that. I think I did an overall gate on. Yeah, I did Oxford drum gate, which I will talk about, because it's. Am I allowed to swear on this?
You can, but I was about to say we can't see it, but now we can.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Particularly for this project, and we'll go through that anyway. But basically, loads of mics. I think we did a couple of weird ones. We did like a top smash, which I think was just like a distorted channel. Let's hope which I think we just routed all the tops to. and that's just the ride being smashed to death. We didn't end up using it much,
Oh,
but
we
remember that we kind of like it just did like a trash channel for the
yeah,
tops to see if it would work. It
yeah.
kind of sounded cool, but actually when it came to the reality of mixing it in, it was just like, yeah, it doesn't.
I think
It's easier to synthesize it afterwards.
yeah, the session, I think it was good. I think we all just getting a bit too, like, oh, what if we'd use this bit of
Yeah,
like this hardware. Like I was playing with the Roland Echo
yeah, yeah. We've
Tape
got
Echo,
that.
and I
I've
was
still
like,
got that on one of the channels here, but it's like,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the thing is with that is it sounds so good
yeah,
compared to the plugin.
yeah.
But yeah, so yeah,
It's what it, yeah, what it is. I'm gonna just play some drums and see what this sounds like. I am prepared where this is going to be, so we'll see what it sounds like in the. Okay.
play it, not quantize or quantize.
Not quantized.
Quantize, yeah.
And this is before we added any trigger samples or anything like that as well. So a lot of it is just being. Oh, I mean, I don't want to go massively plug-in heavy on. It's just, and I would have kept most of these on. Oxford, like the Oxford drum gate is doing a lot of work, mostly with a leveler. The thing I love about this project, actually, I've not used it on the kick here. I think I might have done it in another way, but the idea is you choose a target. Actually, I know I'm using on the snares. Let's do that. Right, let's get the snare one open. It allows you to control the volume of both the big hits and the ghost notes hits.
Yeah,
The best thing about it. So because we're kind of like wanting everything to hit basically the same level. I've 100%ed both here. So as we're going through, I'm missing some here. So the bright lights, the bright lines are
2 and a
like
4,
big hits, whereas the lesser hits are all the ghost notes. So I'm turning up the ghost notes to match all the way through, and the hits are all being level matched as well.
Yeah, because that was I remember we talked about that. It was one of the hardest bits of. It's like it's not Cad's fault, but like the ghost notes were just really loud, wasn't it?
Yeah,
We just wanted a bit more control, and we were just like.
And I mean, you can just go through and cut each of those out, turn them down. It's long. It takes a long time. I mean, I've done that in the past. I've definitely done that in the past, but it's nice not to have to, and you just have a plugin that does it automatically.
Was this through chatting to Urban Double? Or was that you? Right.
No, I figured it out. I found it before. I figured it out. I can't say I can't. Sonox figured it out, and then I just happened to come across it. It was, it came up on a plugin deal, and I thought I'd heard of this before, and then I looked in.
Yeah,
it again, and watched the videos.
For drum and bass, this is definitely the one for live drums. I don't know.
Maybe ghost notes are so important. Yeah, there's definitely other stuff like anything that's used like where ghost notes are really important to the sound of the drum. If you're able to have control of both of those, it's amazing. So yeah,
and Chad loves to go crazy on the snare.
Yeah, he does, and it's a big part of his sound, and it was really important to like capture that as much as we can. That's another example of it here. I think just no bad example of it. Let's not use that at all.
I mean, the fills for me were supposed to be kind of like a bit messy to sound like a break, and then
sound like a jungle break,
more crisper drum and bass groove. Yeah.
So we had the three snares were like one. Wait, we can play each of them separately as it is anyway. So snare one's just kind of a straightforward, tight, normal sounding snare. Snare two is kind of a bit more vibey, a bit more ringy. And snare three is the piccolo snare, which doesn't get used much in this tune.
And you got a bit of a ring on that as well, haven't you?
There's a little bit of a ring on that as well, definitely. Yeah, I mean, all of these definitely had some like processing from me. I won't go through all of it because it's probably all kind of mismatching various bits of EQ, and I'm just pulling it as I'm hearing it.
It was just trying to blend the whole thing together. It's a massive project, and when it comes to our live show, we're working with various sound engineers, more recently with Kyle, about the processing that goes through to try and get that sound, to get Chad sounding as fat as possible. I mean, the Boomtown show, the snare was just like bang in your face. And my mate, who's seen me and the band since the beginning, after the next day, was like, it sounded so good but different. And I'm like, what was it? And I was like, it was the sessions of engineering, the session
Yeah.
of trying to make it happen.
And
It's
working with Chad as well to kind of, because like it's hard to, not hard, but like he has his own style, right? And it's just trying to match that to how it works. And like he had to work on that for sure as well. I know that,
yeah,
but yeah, it sounded great. So I think a lot of it's done more with close mics as well. Like I think that was the key for this
yeah,
mix mostly.
100%.
It's like
Like the bleed, like we were saying, the bleed between the hi hat and the snare, and just trying to get that because when you were like you just playing the snare now,
you still hear that,
not
right?
is
Yeah.
yeah. Well, just I remember when we did this, and he was recording from his house, and he sent me the stuff, and I was like, even if I mute the hi hat mic, I'm still
Still
hearing
hearing it, yeah. I mean,
so.
the hats, you can see just about from the level here, but like the hats are all really low. They're there because it actually does add a bit of control and stuff as well, and
Mm,
it allows it to kind of poke through and give
mm.
a bit of,
You want,
obviously
yeah,
slightly
you
pan
kind
as
of
well,
want.
but
I wanted the hi hats of the transients,
hmm
but then not it all over the snare.
yeah, that's it. We're gonna untime our thing. We might have to splice together our key.
Yes.
That's fine. Anyway, I'll play the drums all together again just to hear what's going on. But I mean, I'm just wanted I can't even remember how much overhead we use. Probably not that much. Like, yeah, it's just giving that a bit of room as well. Wow, the room's doing a bit more. But I think that's a bit more of a spread. Yeah, I mean, literally maxing out the spread on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plugin, which I love for spread. But yeah, I mean, most of it is definitely coming from the close mics.
So we then took this and had a session with Urban Dub, and he said you might want to swap your kick drum out.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up resampling that kick, didn't we?
We did. In fact, I'm going to open that session, talk about it because it's kind of useful to see what we did on that. And I think we like.
When did we do that?
I can tell by the session date, and this kind of tells you how long this project's been going on. This is the drum, everything recorded 2024, so that's where we were now. But this was February, I think we had that session.
Yeah.
I'm just going by the date on this project, but it was really good, and it was kind of like it was just pointed us a bit more in that drum and bass.
But I remember
Not purist, but you know what I mean, that kind of that world.
reason why.
Why did we have that session?
What?
You say you can't remember the reason why we had the session.
No, why we swapped the kick for a triggered kick.
Just so it punched through more.
Instantly.
That was it. Just because, like, as much as a real kick, and to be fair, I'm surprised we kept the real kick for as long as we did in lots of ways. I mean, to be fair, it sounded good. A bit of processing, yeah, but it's like it was definitely where I'll find it. Trigger. Is that one? So
Did
turn
we
trigger off.
did we read?
Okay.
Did we find a different kick sample?
We found a different kick. You found a kick. I want to say from within. One of the absolute drums in my head. That's not what it's called. What's it called?
Addictive.
That's the one. I'm wondering now if it was actually in that other session as well, but it doesn't matter. You can hear like this is the original kick. That's the live kick, and this is the triggered kick.
Yeah.
So it still sounds relatively live, but it's just like all parts of the frequency are hitting where you want it to hit, right?
Yeah. And then this kind of
And
works.
that's coming in and out as well, I think.
Yeah, and this then works a bit more within the live context as well. And how you in the live show we use triggers for the kick and snare, and then that's up to Kyle how he wants to mix it.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, I think as much as it'd be great to say we can get the live kick sounding like like a classic drum bass kick. It just it's kind of nearly. I'm sure somebody can do it somewhere in the world, but it's never really hits the same way, and it's about velocity control as well. Because if you're hitting that kick with the trigger, the velocity is going to be the same every time. And as good as any drummer can be, to get that exact every time is nigh on impossible. I think anyone can really do that.
And that I feel is important when it comes to dance music. Consistency and there is a kind of, repetitiveness,
Hmm.
monotonous, and kind of that's, I guess hypnotizes you almost into a kind of zoning out. So if there's too much variables, people can't really like, yeah, just
Particularly with a kick. Like I think the kick, snare, and bass they need to be. That's the main components of the groove, right?
mm,
That's that you can have variations within that, of course, but like all the fun stuff that's happening on the snare, like in terms of the ghost notes, that's the interest. But 2 and 4 always going to be there, and
mm,
the kick's always going to be there.
you're getting a
Calling
phone
me.
call.
I am getting a phone call.
So do you want to
Yeah.
show us anything?
Just anything else in this project? I think apart from, I mean, I can go through the other bits because we just talked about drums, but I feel like this is definitely. I'm pretty sure this is the last one I sent before you took over, like the main bulk of the project. We've got the bass, which is a combination of.
Your face is in the way.
Uh,
Chat, press one.
oh,
'Cause
say that again. Sorry.
we can't see your chat. Your face is in the way. Press Y. Yeah, or just lean. There you
Better
go.
or worse?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
better. That's it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'll solo the bits, but I think it's necessarily important. I think this is all Lewis's bass, and then I'm pretty sure this is the synth through his bunch of pedals and stuff we use for. Yeah.
Cry me a river, 'cause I cried a river over you. Now you say you love me.
So this has obviously changed a lot since
Yeah.
coming into the final version, which is quite important. But I mean, this is good to show the journey of it because like this is all done with like Lewis's pedal effects and stuff like that, and I think that's what we still do live, right? A lot of the time, and I think they.
Like I hear this and I think it sounds pretty much like the original, well, the remix.
Yeah, I think that's what we were originally aiming for, right? Like, we
Yeah.
were just trying to make the like your SoundCloud original kind of come across in a live fashion.
Yeah,
And then you took it on from there. We'll talk about that obviously. But I try to think if there's anything else useful in here. I don't.
What
I could
did
spend
you have?
ages talking about it. But
What did you have on the guitar?
that's what I was going to think as well. Where's my guitar gone? So we did the guitar sessions here at my house. We think a lot of the effects were probably recorded in live. So we've got this lovely. And I think you may have even recorded it on my Strat, just through a classic wah wah pedal, and I've got like a nice spring reverb right in front of me here. Insert picture, and I think that's basically all we've kind of recorded it through. But it's so vibey sounding, and it sounds really cool. And then I think I recorded some extra stuff on this. They're just short skanks that kind of blend in somewhere. But then I think the main drop bit was where we had fun.
Very James Bond-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we see
No.
what you did on the brass?
Yes. I think we got rid of all the pitch. We had some cool pitch shifting things that don't think the final bit on the guitar. On the brass, this is originally this was like a string line or a synth line, I think.
Yeah. Pick.
Let's do the brass on this next. Oh, I'm going to have to stop the video and start again. Do you want to share the link?
Yeah.
I wish I don't have extensions anymore.
Brass. Let's talk about brass.
Brass. So yeah, I think nothing crazy is going on here. Although actually, I'm missing some files because this is an old project. I know what that was. I was trying to keep it relatively simple, as if we had I think it evolved again, but as if there was like a 3-piece / 4-piece horn section live. We should do 3-piece horn section live occasionally when budgets allow.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic about it. So yeah, some skanks. Going into UAD Sound City Studio, which I still love on horns. Let's take that off. Oh, how dry! And then these trombones here are supposed to be going. But anyway, ignore them.
Definitely.
And then
you pan them as well, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. What?
There's no problem.
It might have been outdated since odd that it's not panned.
You pan quite heavily, and I used to pull it in a little bit, But
Yeah,
it's because
it's.
you come from the live world, and I'm coming putting it into a bit more.
I think live slash pop where it doesn't matter. Like, it's like it's interesting. I always have this conversation with myself when I'm doing stuff now. Like, does it matter that it collapses a little bit in stereo, in mono, and it like is so genre specific? Because sometimes it's like doesn't
Yeah.
matter, really doesn't matter,
So
and
it's
some yeah
you should say that because I think everything is changing now in the sense of sound systems are usually in stereo.
yeah
Sound systems usually want that wow effect, and you you'd be surprised. I've been listening to loads of tracks and listening to their sides and being like, they've got
there's
low
stuff.
ends on their sides, and they don't.
I think it's interesting because I feel like this could be a whole conversation on its own because firstly I'm surprised that it's taken this long for sound systems to start being actually mostly stereo rather than mono. They still exist in mono, obviously, and subs are often still in mono, whatever happens. Like low end is often still in mono. I also think it's people going, yeah, but it sounds better in stereo, and just going, if then being then it's that thing. It's like if it doesn't sound good on the system, it's not my fault. It's the system
Well, that's
fault.
it. I think
Which
it's
is hard because, like,
I think it's come from like, oh, we're cutting vinyl to
yeah,
sound system club world to no, I want it to sound amazing on Spotify and in headphones and AirPods.
yeah.
I think that's the what's happened in producers' conversations with and engineers' conversations going, I don't care. It needs to be
Yeah, I think that's it. I think for a long time there's always been this consensus, particularly from dare I say older school, but I think it comes from that, and we listen to that, and we go, no, things need to be straight down the line mono to be really punchy and big, which still makes sense, right? It still makes sense. I think the ideal situation is it sounds great in both.
yeah.
Like, and there is ways of doing that, but also not being worried about it being too wide. Like in my I think I'm going back to being mega wide. I think I started doing this a little bit, and I'm going like this. I'm going back out again, definitely. So yeah, it's like my body size. Yeah.
We got to here, and then I went
Yeah.
back to here.
It's yeah, but there's certain things you can get away with. I think it's like I think this goes into the thing of like panning versus spreading. There's two different things. If I hard pan, and the Sound City Studios ruins all this, but if I hard pan trumpet left, sax right, for instance, and I put that into mono, it's going to be fine because there's no weird phasing thing that's happened. They're just going to be in the middle. Whereas if you put that into something and then it's a spreader, then you're kind of playing with mid-side stuff, and that's where it might sound weird. So like it's like doubling of guitars. If you double guitar and you do left-right guitars, which happens in loads of stuff, if you put them together, if it's a separate guitar track played on by a different, played by the same guitar by the same player, still it's ideally a different guitar. You put them in the middle, it's going to sound good. It's just going to sound like two guitars playing in the middle. Whereas if you put one guitar and you're putting stereoizers on that, and then you squish it, then it'll sound phasey as fuck. So there's a balance to be had. In this scenario, I've not panned it, and I've just used the studio thing, and it's kind of doing a pseudo stereo thing. Anyway, go on about that for ages. But yeah, it's not mega. We took over the horn. This was like originally like a synth or string line. This bit was.
Yeah, it was a pluck string.
Yeah, plug thing. That's right. And you've kind of chopped that around in the newest.
Originally, it was called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang by Contrast.
Okay, got you. Nice.
Which is where it gets completely confusing. And somewhere I saw online, somebody has done a version, and someone's asked for the ID, and people have gone, "It's Kiss Kiss Bang Bang," and I've gone, "Well, actually, Julie London."
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. I think that's it. There's a solo in here as well, which I apparently don't have on this session, which is weird. But I think we did some extra bits down here. What's this? Oh yeah. That. This used to be, and maybe it's still, but was what we played live during the big choruses instead of the plucks. Like it was instead of the plucks we did that, and I think I never really liked that line. But we kept it in for the ending because it kind of added a bit of extra sauce. So, all right, I think that's enough on my side potentially, because otherwise we'll be here forever.
Yeah.
I mean, the other stuff in the track is all like strings effects and stuff like that, which kind of came from various different things. we didn't have any extra string parts I added on this one, I think. So maybe you can talk about those bits. Well, did I do these? Oh no, that's your kind of cool.
Full stretch.
Well, just to
And that's the same just with the crystallizer, I think.
Yeah.
Good old crystallizer doing its magic. Then these are just effects, which obviously are just gonna, be on the backing track stuff when we do live. I mean, we're not backing track less yet in the live game, and I don't know if we ever will be.
No.
Because then what are you gonna do?
Trigger it. Well, I could trigger it all.
I think you should trigger it all.
Yeah.
I think that's
Gonna try. Yeah. That's the goal.
Yeah. Right. So I stop sharing my screen. You can share your screen and see where you took this track since that point. I can't think if there's anything else in here to talk about. Oh, vocals.
Yes. What
That's,
did you do
one of the most important parts of the song.
What did you do on
guess,
the vocals?